Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. It's Friday. Yeah, I have to stop doing it, but I can't, man. That's the flavor we bring on Friday. Welcome to Traders Reality, ladies and gentlemen. I hope everyone is smiling. We've got some movement in the charts, and we've also got to talk about a love story that's actually maybe coming to an end. Someone don't want to be in bed with Bitcoin anymore, and they're looking at XRP. Why? Maybe because there's a lot of regulation behind XRP, or there's trying to be regulation. But a big heavyweight is looking at getting involved in XRP, which could, if the speculation does come to the surface, could actually bring a lot of interest. Now, we might see a classic pump and dump scenario. You know what cryptocurrency is all about. Now, before we get into the charts, we've got a few things to do today. We got the giveaway. These bad boys. I'm giving 2 hats away in today's live stream. I've got the guys in the list. 620 people have become bronze members on the Traders Reality website, and I'm going to give these 2 snapbacks away to whoever wins. All right, so good luck to anybody that is and that has become a bronze member. This guy's messed it up, but we'll be getting to that in a split second. So today we're going to look at what we can expect from Bitcoin. I'm going to do some on-the-go analysis. I'm going to break down a few levels. We're just going to talk price action today, ladies and gentlemen. And then hopefully we get what we want from Bitcoin. Because Bitcoin, come on, man. If you took some money off the table, happy days. But this could be an opportunity to pick some more up. Who knows, ladies and gentlemen? But other than that, let's get with the flavor in the charts. Let's roll. Here we go. So, where we at? Mad love everyone passing through. What is good? Yes, TR scented hats. TR scented hats. You want me? Well, whoever wins it, I don't know. I'm going to ask if you want me to sign it. Not that it needs to be signed or anything. And I'll spray some perfume, aftershave. Not perfume. That's on a Saturday. So I've got to make sure I send it before Saturday, because then I'm going to get involved in Jokes aside, ladies and gentlemen, look at dearly beloved Bitcoin trying to pull away from the highs on the chart. We've got the 1-hour time frame, and we've got that classic spike up vector candle recovery. If you don't know about vector candles, you need to get acquainted with the reality of what vector candles are. That's these big red vector candles right here, which imply imbalance, points of interest, market maker doing his thing, trapping you into going short, and then instantly reversing it back up to bring the flavor to the upside. Remember, market maker doesn't need to move straight away. He likes to build his positions, as you can see inside of these zones. We focus on patterns and structures like so, with the big pumps to the upside to get prepared for the shorts to the downside. We know what the flavor is, and if you've been with me from day one, you'll understand what the pattern is all about. And if you don't, let me introduce it to you today. So, what have we got going off with Bitcoin? Well, before we do get started on Bitcoin, and I know you want to get in straight with the price action, if you guys remember the lives back in the day, we've got an IPO, all right? A big IPO that's coming out. And the New York Stock Exchange is anticipating this, which is probably why NASDAQ has been taking a little bit of a tumble to the downside. The IPO that I'm talking about is this bad boy right here. Arm is building the future of computing. Now, a couple of the guys in the Patreon and what have you been talking about that the company behind this is called SoftBank. The company's in a bit of a problem. So hopefully this job of Arm is going to cover that. But these guys are based in the UK, so I'm going to try and make myself acquainted with these guys and just try and maybe go over and talk to them about what do they see happening in the future with chips. As it stands right now, it's been listed already as the electro semiconductor manufacturer. These guys are responsible or will be responsible for creating chips for every single device, even the one that you're looking on right now, your mobiles, your TVs, you name it. Technology all over the spot, ladies and gentlemen. Now, you can see already they've actually done really well. $63.59 a share with a market cap of around $52 billion. That is a big thing for an IPO, the largest since 2021, ladies and gentlemen. That is huge, okay? And the company itself, look, they're loving life right now, okay? Listed as a tech stock, so we're going to see some big volatility coming in once the market is available to start buying these shares up. Now, this is the thing about IPOs. You have the initial reaction, which is usually going to lead to a big move up, and then there's always that pullback because the earlier investors are going to start taking some money off the table if everyone in retail starts jumping on it. So I would advise that you just wait at least a week for the price action to settle if you are going to start getting involved in an asset like this, all right? So, moving on from that bad boy, ladies and gentlemen, Bitcoin, 800 EMA, yet again. What did we say in yesterday's live stream? You're waiting for the break of the 50 EMA with the red vector candle. Luckily, we haven't had that clear break just yet. Problem is that we do have an interesting point in the chart on Bitcoin all the way down here at the 26,000 zone. Now, everyone has probably been pumped up on the idea that this could be it for Bitcoin, but we need to see a clean break away from the 800 EMA on the 1 hour time frame to assume that the short-term momentum in Bitcoin is going to be favoring higher prices. Okay, Chicanos, that's what they like to say. Now, moving forward from that, we need to understand what levels have interest, okay? High block. Now, market maker has been sweeping liquidity across the board. You can see yesterday they took advantage of that liquidity at 26,850. Happy days. Now, if we just go into the bigger time frame and run it on the 1 month, we're going to have a good idea of what we can expect in relation to the actual liquidity when it decides to operate. Maybe not. Go to the 3 month chart. Let's see if that bad boy works. Maybe not. Let's refresh it. What's going on? Happy days. Is it going to work? There we go. All right, then. So go back into the month. Cool. Now, look at the monthly time frame. There are a lot of stops, positions, liquidations at 28,500. Okay? If Bitcoin cannot succeed above the current zone which we're at, which is above the 800 EMA, which sits at 26,868, then, ladies and gentlemen, all we're going to be seeing is Bitcoin moving back down again, because classically, it always likes to reverse from the 800 EMA when it's in a downwards move. Just pay attention to how the moving averages are forming. Whenever you see this big gap in the moving averages, it suggests to you that volatility has happened. Now, moving averages are laggard, ladies and gentlemen. That's the truth of the game, but they give you an insight into what's happened. And you can see there's huge volatility there. Big momentous move to the downside. Then all of a sudden, Bitcoin stops, then makes a reversal back up. This right here, ladies and gentlemen, is classic. All day long, mean reversion. Okay? That means price moves away from its norm and then goes back into the norm itself. And that's what these algorithms are doing. These algos that the market maker has effectively programs price to move from one point where the liquidity is and where he can get it committed. Because remember, you ain't going to buy if there's no reason to buy, and you ain't going to sell if there's no reason to sell. That's what market maker does. He facilitates that obligation to the exchange to make sure that you, gang, are going to want to buy and sell Bitcoin. Right now, Bitcoin is starting to pull back ever so slightly, but nothing that we can be too concerned about. A breach of the 50 EMA on the 1 hour time frame will put things into perspective and maybe send Bitcoin down towards that 25,977 zone, which would mean that the liquidity on the 1 month time frame could stabilize inside of this area here. But to the downside, we've got lots of liquidations at 23,500, which we might not see just yet. Something drastic would have to happen for Bitcoin to completely break down from this zone. But what I will say to you is do not ignore the vectors. Right now, we've got a green vector candle down here. We've got a blue vector candle over here, and we are stuck in this area of the 800 EMA. If Bitcoin can succeed and create this structure, rise up, retrace continuation out, then we would have more confidence that Bitcoin is going to break this area and start working the final zones of the vector candle on the left side of the chart. This is how I break down the charts when I'm looking at potential setups for Bitcoin. I need to know if I'm trading towards a vector. I trade towards where people were interested before, okay? I'm not interested in these little zones right here. These zones are BS for me, okay? It's just market maker loading up his positions, okay? He's taking advantage of traders who are inconsistent and not patient, waiting for a move to happen, okay? Now, you might look at this and say, yeah, but Tino, how could I have taken advantage of a move like this in Bitcoin or a big move up like this in Bitcoin? The thing is, the sweet spot with it all is this. If we're in a downwards move in the marketplace, right? Any move up is designed for the market maker to effectively build his shorts at the highest possible point. You guys know that. You know that in order to have an investment of value, you need to sell it from the highest point, okay? And then you buy it again at the lowest. That's economics. That's standard. That's not even financial advice. That's common sense. You buy an investment as cheaply as possible and sell it for as much as possible. That's how it works. When you see these big deviations away from the moving average like this, those are clues that something is brewing. The vector candle teaches you that. Look at these imbalances here, right? If they don't recover the vectors in the same move, then you can assume that any vectors that have been left behind are going to get recovered. Anybody new to the channel, go back in the charts with this indicator, just type in Traders Reality in TradingView and just go back and look at how often the vector candles get recovered. And you only need to make a move once you see it, all right? Because the logic says if this move is going to continue higher, then you're going to place your trades and wait and see if it can actually continue. But you've got to think about what retail's thinking. Bitcoin's moving up. Yay, buy Bitcoin. You are now witnessing people being part of the trap. Every move up and down is a trap. They make the move. Look, no recovery of the vector candles inside of this range. They recover them. You improve the odds of a trade working in your favor if you plot and pay attention to how price is moving. The same move happened here. The same move happened here. The same move, where is it? Happened here. Same move happened here. Now you're probably saying, yeah, but Tino, if I keep on witnessing it going up and up and up and up, what happens then? Well, it won't be parabolic and continuously move up. Everyone waits on the idea of cryptocurrency to become parabolic. Yeah, okay, cool. It doesn't mean it's going up in one motion instantaneously, continuously to the upside. No, there will be a retrace, okay? How big is that retrace? Well, that's all going to be based on the moving averages and how price comes back to the norm of things. Like you see here. Price moves up. You remember in that live stream, we said, look, take the vector candle recovery point right there. And if they manage to hold at that point, happy days. If not, the break of the 50 EMA with the red vector candle will then suggest price is going to go lower. Then you're trading towards the previous vector candles. Guys who were witnessing this candlestick right here were already building shorts on Bitcoin. And then they just simply recover the whole range. Now we got exactly the same story right here. But this move has taken a little while. But look what's going on. The vectors have effectively been recovered. Except these ones right here, which they've now come back into. Now we're going to start looking at the structure of price in anticipation of the open in the next 15 minutes. So, red vector candle right now, I'm going to get rid of all of this. Red vector candle on the 1 hour time frame is the thing that I'm paying attention to the most. Go get yourself a Fibonacci. Take the high of the candle. There's a big strong open on that candle, no wick. Go all the way down to the actual wick itself, which ends right there. Now look at what you've got. You've effectively got the midpoint of the candlestick. It may not have been a red vector straight away. That means during the creation of this candlestick, volume started to come in. Market maker was starting to offload previous shorts that he had built to the upside. And now he's loading up on longs, okay? Because he buys when it drops. We understand that. The midpoint itself is going to give you the heads up as to whether or not, stick with me on this one. If they bring price back up to that point, then in this area right here, we assume that that point is going to trigger the intention of what market maker has inside of this zone. If he's looking at going long from this point, when he brings price back up towards this point and succeeds above the midpoint of the vector, we can improve the odds of the candlestick being fully recovered because we would assume that market maker's done his business at the 50 EMA and he's looking at getting a recovery back up to make profit on his previous trades that he built to the downside. Are we all on the same page with that? Okay. He goes long when prices drop. He then realizes the return of those longs by moving price back up, inducing traders who believed price was going down. Their margins were all set. That means their liquidation points have all been placed in here. Now market maker can make a quick flip and return price back up. That's the logic of the 50% of the vector candle. Go and have a look. When you go back in the charts, take the 50% point of the vector candle. Here is a perfect example. And I know I'm working in hindsight, ladies and gentlemen, but we've got a real play happening right now, which if it works in our favor, happy days. We've come to understand how it works. But take this red vector candle, top side right there, go to the bottom. Now look at it. Look at what had happened here. So they wanted to go long when the candlestick dropped. So they were going long for that whole hour. Price stabilizes. Then they make their way to the midpoint. That's where you're paying attention and saying to yourself, if I'm going to run along from this point, I'm going to assume that market maker is going to come back and attack this liquidity up here on the red vector candle. At minimum, if I take a long from this point right here, I would set my stop to be outside of the structure, which is below the vector candle. And then I'm going to witness that the logic says that if the moving averages are pointing upwards and the 5 and 13 EMA are pointing above the 50 EMA, then the trend is there for price to continue higher. The red vector candle gives you that clue that from the midpoint, market maker is going to give us the clue that he could be getting ready to shift out and move away. Likewise, he did that. He moved away because the 800 EMA is the next point of interest in the chart where traders set stops and orders on the hope that if the 800 EMA gets broken, it means it's a big break of a moving average. Quickly go long. That's why you see these stop runs appearing above the 800 EMA. You see stopping volume candles appearing. What's a stopping volume candle? A stopping volume candle is the market maker's attempt at flushing liquidity to one side of the direction of the trend, but preventing it from going any further. Why? Because he's already caught the attention of retail traders going long inside of these zones. Now, if he maintains the stance of price continuously going up, he's now giving the retail trader the chance to take a profit. What happens with that? You think he's in the business for charity? No, because when you run your longs, when prices are running up, what do you think is opening up, ladies and gentlemen? Your liquidation points down below. That's why market maker needs to make sure that he prevents volume from coming into the marketplace by reversing it so that he can then come back down and attack the liquidation points inside of these zones, shaking out the retail traders, because behind every single liquidation point is an order opposite. If you're long, your liquidation point is a sell. In order for that sell to be triggered, who's going to be on the other side? Market maker with a buy. That's the way the business works. Now, our goal is to try and work out if, at this point right now in the chart, are we going to witness that same structure? Will market maker bring the 50% of the vector candle right here? Will he bring price back up into that zone? And we got 15 minutes, well, 10 minutes for that to actually come into play? Or is he just simply going to collapse price? That's when we start going down into the smaller time frames. 15-minute time frame, what do we have? Well, we've got Bitcoin making a nice move to the downside, okay? Bitcoin's a little bit cheaper. Starting to see a collective of stopping volume candles and more so violet candlesticks. What are the violet candlesticks? The violet candlesticks tell me that volume is starting to increase. But if the violet vector candlesticks start to appear as prices are dropping, it could also suggest that it's slowing down, okay? When you see red vector candles, the thing you want to be paying attention to is how aggressive they are. Look at this one. This one is a strong drop. There's conviction. So when you see a red vector candle that breaks the 50 EMA on the 15-minute time frame or the 1-hour time frame, it has to close below it. That is what you've got right here. It closed below it. What was the result of that move? Had you run a short from that close of that candle, you would have caught yourself a nice little $230 move in Bitcoin with your high leverage. Not that I endorse it, but with high leverage, you're making a nice little return on that. Okay? Now your goal is to try and find these opportunities. Why would you not take it on this one? Because it didn't break the 50 EMA cloud. Look at it. It came into it, but it stayed within that range. That gave me a heads up that things ain't looking promising. All right? So I'd be a little bit more reluctant. Now remember, we're talking about after the fact, but it's the thought process. Because if you're going to be actively trading, you're going to be regurgitating this same thought process over and over again. Till you get to a point where you were seeing it happening so many times, it then becomes a numbers game. It's all probabilities, ladies and gentlemen. The odds of a trade working in your favor, if it clearly breaks the 50 EMA, improve because you're justifying the strength of the move. Why? Because they've been marking price up significantly. We've got imbalances in the chart that we would expect price to come back into. So you take the play. Now, you don't put the play in and say, right, I'm going to take a short from this point right here, and I'm going to set my risk to be about this point right here. What is that? That you're not giving Bitcoin enough room to move. It's a volatile asset. All it needs to do is fart, and this thing happens. Look at that wick. Nice little wick up to only bring it back down again. Okay? So you've got to take that into consideration. Now, 200 EMA right now is showing there's a little bit of interest, and Bitcoin is stalling at that point. So that gives me room to think, okay, maybe we could see Bitcoin try and come back up. Maybe aim towards the 50 EMA. Maybe even try and come back to the daily open. Well, let's have a look at what this bad boy is saying. Well, would we, look at that. The VWAP, currently priced at the 26,520 point. What do we have below? We have an unfortunate story of liquidity down below. And that's a little bit of a problem for me. Why? Because when interest is coming down below, the longer they maintain the interest down there, the market will naturally gravitate to where the liquidity sits. It's not going to stay in one zone and not garner any interest. It will know where the interest is because the orders are coming in on the order book. Okay? Now, this is an auction place. Look at this. 2 areas of interest on the book map. You've got the top side up here between 26,920 and 27,200. All right? What we've got to be mindful of is this liquidity down below here at 26,000. It's kind of close. So we would assume that if Bitcoin's not done yet, we have to factor in the idea that they could do a run for a sweep for the liquidity. And then, of course, where's your line? Come back up and then test the VWAP. Okay? That will take us down to 26,000. How close is 26,000? Well, 26,000 is only right at the 800 EMA. Bitcoin would have to drop significantly. And the market is opening in the next 8 minutes. All right? Have we had anything come out today? Well, ladies and gentlemen, we've had the Empire Manufacturing State Index come out, and that shows that's showing an increase from -9 to 1.9. So the manufacturing sector's looking good, but we already knew that because look, the employment sales, retail sales, they're going up. So that means there's activity happening in the economy. That's good news. Now we've got the preliminary consumer sentiment data coming out at 3 p.m. All right. And that's the last bout of information that comes out today, which could be a market mover. So as I always say to you guys, wait till 3 p.m. Okay. Now, before the market actually opens, I'm going to do a couple of things right now. If you are new to the channel, you know what the flavor is. Get yourself over to the Traders Reality website. You can download the indicators. You can become a member. If you become a silver, gold, platinum member, you get access to all this fun stuff in here, the Patreon archives. You get a market watch and a weekly wrap up at the end of the week. And I do projections on the weekly, on the market watch for the gold and, for the platinum. And then, of course, you get setups, trade setups throughout the week. Platinum gets more. Gold, they get a couple throughout the week. But more importantly, you get insight into how we use the hybrid system. If that's not for you, check out the course. You've got a free one and we've got a paid one, okay? And what you'll learn on the paid one is going to cover your costs straight away. That's my honest opinion. What you will learn in there and what you'll learn in breaking down the hybrid, which is the free version, is going to give you insight into how to really use the hybrid system and know your tools, okay? So go check that out if you're busy at the weekend and you want something to do. Put it to the test, ladies and gentlemen, and let me know. Now, the main event. Look, BlackRock rumored to shift crypto focus from Bitcoin to XRP. They've fallen in love with Bitcoin, man. Bitcoin ain't about it anymore, man. It's all XRP, you know? Only because, now they're saying, wait for it, they're saying it's speculation. Comment goes on and says the financial giant is speculated to be considering a shift in focus from Bitcoin, the leading digital currency, to XRP, a digital asset primarily known for its payment protocol. Where's the ETF, bro? That's what really winds me up. But even if XRP gets the clout and they benefit, Bitcoin is also going to benefit. At the end of the day, if I've got a reason to buy XRP, I've got a reason to buy Bitcoin. Because it's endorsement in crypto. That's the good thing about cryptocurrency, okay? Now, with that being said, just before the market opens, I'm going to run this giveaway, okay? I have a list, 620 people, right? And I'm going to pick a random number. Goes down to 620 right there. And I'm going to pick a random number, ladies and gentlemen, all right? From 1 to 620. Person's going to win this bad boy hat. First, we're going to go for the dark. All right? Fits lovely, doesn't it? Right. Okay, here we go. I need a countdown. I need you all to start typing 1 in this live. Okay? And I'm just going to do the countdown from that. Are we ready? Here we go. Start typing 1. Okay? What I'm going to do, once I have the winners, keep an eye out on your emails. Because I will be sending an email and it's going to be, you won the hat, happy days. That's what I'm going to say. Or I might actually change it just in case someone tries to do some fly business and contact you. but you'll know that you've won the hat. Okay? Cool. Happy days. Here we go. So we're going to do a little practice run. Or no, we're not going to do a practice run. Okay? I'm going to pick these two numbers. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. First winner is number 562. I need to get that on my thing. Write that bad boy. Here we go. Winner 562. Well done, bro. Miss, whatever it is. 562. Happy days. Now, the second one. 515. Wow. 515. That is pretty close. That is pretty close. Well, ladies and gentlemen, someone has now won these two hats. Well, two people have won these two hats, and it's not going to be the last time I'm going to do that. I've got something for the guys in the silver and the gold and the platinum tiers. They're going to get a little bit more treatment as well. I'm going to do t-shirts. I'm going to do private live streams and all that flavor. We've just had the website sorted out, so just bear with. And we're getting things rock and rolling over there. So well done to the winners for these two hats. I'm going to ask if you want me to sign it or you want my perfume for the weekend or the aftershave during the week. That's on you to pick. I ain't going to spray it, man. Forget that, man. That's not right, man. I've got some pictures of socks and all. Nah, that's different, man. Tina, not on this live stream. Shut up. Anyways, back to the price. Mad love to everyone that's joined. I'm going to be doing these giveaways continuously anyway, so don't worry if you've missed out, okay? All right, then. Here we go. So let's get into breaking down the charts. It's 28 minutes past right now. I have to go and pick up my daughter very, very shortly, so I'm going to keep it short and sweet and just give you an insight into how and what I'm looking at when I'm breaking down charts. Remember, I'm a scalper. I'm fast in, fast out. And take what I'm saying and apply it to your analysis, because you'll notice that I might throw out numbers, but listen to what I'm saying in terms of the relationship on how price is moving, because that's what we need to focus on how it's moving. What's it trying to make me think? Okay, cool. So 15-minute time frame, we're going into the 5-minute chart to have a look at what Bitcoin is doing right now. We know that this is the vector candle region right here. That's the midpoint of that whole vector on the 1-hour time frame. Logic says that if it can't even get above the 50 EMA, so now we've got a confluence point right now. If we can't even get above this point right here, we're going to be assuming that the daily open is now not going to be tested. And then, of course, Bitcoin's going to keep on moving down lower. Looking at my scope, I can see I've got the 800 EMA, which has been tested once, but it hasn't been triggered because a lot of people will be placing orders of shorts in that zone, which was then consistent with them doing a V-shaped snap play right there, because traders right now are placing orders in and around that zone. That's justified with the book map. As you can see, they placed an order, they cancelled it at 26,635 Bitcoin orders in that point. And then down below at 25,800, we got another 886 Bitcoin orders. So the logic would say that once the market opens, we're going to see a little bit of that flavorsome volatility. The book is imbalanced to 12% on limit buys. That means people are actively placing limit orders to buy Bitcoin as it's dropping lower. Quickly going into the volume profile on XO charts, we can see that Bitcoin is trading on the 25-day chart itself at its value area low for the last 25 days. Okay, now value area high, forgive me. Now, this area is consistent with reversals, okay? Likewise, value area low is consistent with reversals, all right? So for those that don't understand it, you've got volume profile like this. Let me just switch this up for you. Here we go. So to the left of the chart, you can see you've got volume profile. If I increase the time frame, you're going to understand it a little bit better, make it a little bit thicker. Here we go. So right now, you can see you've got a volume profile zone up here, which would be value area high. There it is, that gray area. That's value area high. And down below is value area low, okay? Now, these areas are consistent with reversals. So a reversal to the upside if price is staying in the value area low too long, and then reversal from the upside to the downside if they're in the value area high for too long, all right? The midpoint of the volume profile, which is right here, is telling us where everyone is happy to pay a price for Bitcoin at that point. And the logic says that price magnetizes towards that point because that's where they're getting the interest from. Where's it going to grab people to buy and sell? That's what that logic says, okay? Now, let me just get rid of that bad boy, bring that back up for you inside of X. So where's it gone, man? Here we go. All right, then. So Bitcoin is at the value area high, okay? Now, if they start breaking Bitcoin down even further, then we may get the flush of liquidity at 26,228 if they break down to that point. Now, what would we need to see for Bitcoin to do that? Well, on the 4-hour time frame, you can see there's a clear gap. Deviation away from the 50 EMA, nice retrace back down would solidify the move if they are going to hold that point and continue back up. We might not see that in this session, ladies and gentlemen. So we're going to be looking at smaller time frames to understand what we can get from that. So 800 EMAs coming into play. That is the logic I would expect Bitcoin to come and attack once the actual market opens up. Now we have got literally the market is open right now and the Brinks box is forming. This white box here is a Brinks box. In the first hour and a half of trading, this is where they're usually going to manipulate the range. Okay, if we go into other assets, you've got Euro as well. That's done a nice little flavorsome move up from that point. They too are in the actual Brinks box creation itself. So we're going to wait and see. 3 p.m. will be the flavor of that, ladies and gentlemen, but you've got to be careful. 3 p.m. is a news announcement coming out at 3, consumer sentiment, which tells us that if they're optimistic about things, then the economy is going to be optimistic. Happy days. What do? They ask 500 consumers, 500 people are pretty much dictating where the flow of money is going to be going in the next 30 minutes or so. Wow, 500 people, okay? Now, if Euro maintains this stance to the upside, then that means dollar dominance is going to be rolling over. Quickly going into gold. Gold has made a nice flavorsome move to the upside. The platinum setup has done very well there, ladies and gentlemen. Going into oil. Oil has taken a nosedive low, and we need the oil to drop down. Okay, but the problem with oil dropping down, it gives back to USD CAD to keep on moving higher. That's a problem for us. As long as USD CAD is moving up, then that would suggest that the dollar pairs might actually have a problem going up today. Now, we quickly go into the yields themselves, and you can see that the yields are still trading at 5.3%, 5.03%. That's a problem for me. And the 10-year bonds market itself is actually trading at 96, so it is actually going lower. So no one's really stepping in and picking up any bonds. I'm just going to Tesla right now. Tesla has gapped up. Obviously, this new IPO coming in with Arm is going to be a flavorsome thing. Let me just have a look if they've actually released it just yet. Let me go to the daily chart itself. Anything happening on that bad boy? I think it's waiting for it to load. Maybe not. Let's go to the 60-minute time frame. Nothing much happening on there. We'll be waiting for that. Okay. Quickly going into NASDAQ because this is going to help me understand Bitcoin's move. NASDAQ is taking a tumble to the downside. Those of you trading NASDAQ, you want to be careful with NASDAQ because she likes to do the sharp reversals, ladies and gentlemen. What have we got here on the tick chart with NASDAQ? Here we go. So NASDAQ is currently trying to break down low, and we've got this imbalance down at the lows right here. The delta has been increasing, which are these green areas right here. And I'm expecting NASDAQ to effectively try and make a little bit of a reversal, but there's been too many imbalances down below that they could sweep up. So you've got the weekly point of control right there, and it's looking like it's making a nice move. What we're looking for is a sharp reversal. Look at these imbalances here. These are empty shops. I like to call them empty shops in the order flow. At some point, they're going to come back towards these empty shops because they don't like an empty bid and ask profile. All right, here we go. We're going to see some of that flavor coming in right now. NASDAQ could be doing that flavor and coming back up to eat that liquidity at the top side right there. Quickly going in, look, breaking that 800 EMA right there. That's very important. Bitcoin still stalling and holding out inside of that zone. I just need to go over to the book map and have a look. Right, we've seen that big order come in on Bitcoin, and we've just had some more bigger orders coming in at 25,800. And usually what happens is once I finish the live stream, Bitcoin will probably make the move. So let me give you the scope before I make the move. So VWAP is right here. Okay, we would naturally assume that if Bitcoin can make it back to the VWAP, that is a point where we would assume that there's going to be a change in the direction of what they've been trying to do inside of this area. Remember, the VWAP says that institutional investors like to buy below the VWAP and sell above it. All right, look at that as example over here. They've been selling above that point, building their shorts, drop it back down, realize the return, load up again on the VWAP. Now, if the intention to sell above the VWAP is going to continue and bring prices down lower, we would effectively have ourselves what is called a trend in the VWAP. Okay? Now, there's a couple of things you've got to be careful of when you are looking at that logic with the VWAP itself. You've got to think about it and say, oh, okay, here's the VWAP line itself. If price is trading around it and it moves away and continues, that's a trend in the VWAP. If you've got the VWAP like so, where price is like this and the VWAP's like flat, price is going above it, comes back down, goes into it, back up and down. This is what you call a rotation in the VWAP. So there's no trend. It's ideal for scalpers, all right? We're going to assume that today could be a trend on the VWAP itself. Now, if Bitcoin is going to make a move to the downside, we can justify that with the book map, with the liquidity that's down below here. May be a short-lived move to the downside to effectively create a V-shaped play. That's what we're looking at. Now, the book itself is still in balance. Bitcoin ain't really doing anything, and it is Friday, and we do have news announcements coming out at 3 p.m. The thing you are looking for, ladies and gentlemen, all right, before I let you guys go, you're effectively waiting for a low to be formed. Why? because a low is more impressionable than a high. It makes people do something. But then again, at the same token, a high is also impressionable. But what are we looking at right now? We're looking at a point where price could be forming a low. Why? Because they've already formed one right here at in the UK session. So logic says that if they've held this zone and not interested at going lower, then we would expect Bitcoin at minimum to come back up to test that VWAP, where we would effectively get information about the move. Because once it's sat at the VWAP right here, we're going to know from the breakaway from that point if Bitcoin wants to continue back up, because the VWAP is at 26,520. Well, the daily open is at 26,524. All right. So we're going to be then saying to ourselves, is there any interest at that point? Of course there is. It's where the volume weighted average price is. It's where the VWAP is at. Okay. So just keep an eye out on that. You're safer when you wait for 3 o'clock when the news comes out. All right. So keep that in mind. Ladies and gentlemen, have yourselves a pumping weekend. Mad love and respect. Trade safely and do not risk too much capital. All right. Take care of yourselves, gang. Well done, winners of the hats. I'm going to be reaching out to you to keep an eye out on your emails. Mad love and respect. Peace.